Are we recording? Okay. Lesson 1-6. Here we go. Are you ready? Yes, you are. Get out your markers. Let's begin. All right, I'm going to ask you some questions. You're going to write down answers. Ready? I'm going to do 3 at a time. First one. 1 meter equals how many centimeters? Write it down. 1 meter is how many centimeters? Second one. 2 meters is how many centimeters? And 3 meters. That's the third one. 3 meters is how many centimeters? Tick-tock, tick-tock. And here's the answers. You should have written down 100. That's why it's called a centimeter, just like we have 100 cents in our dollar. It takes 100 centimeters to equal 1 meter. Okay? So if you got 2 of those, 2 meters, you get 200. And if you got 3, you got 300. And that's the first batch, okay? Let's go on to the next one, or the next 3. 14 meters equals how many centimeters? 14. Get that one? I'm just going to do this one. I'm not going to do 3. 14 should be 14 times 100, so it's just 1,400 centimeters, okay? Next is 900 centimeters would be how many meters? Let's go the other way this time. 900 centimeters would be how many meters? Now you're dividing by 100, so it would be 9. And the third one in this middle section is 2,400 centimeters equals how many meters? I'm just going to write 2,400. How many meters would that be? If that's centimeters, you just divide by 100, which means wiping off 2 zeros. That's the same process. And it's 24. All right, here we go. The last 3 for the warm-up. Now we're getting into fractions, kids. 50 centimeters is how many meters? What fraction of a meter? 50. Well, it'd be 50 out of 100. So the best thing to write would be a half. That's a half. All right, next. Now they're getting hard. Okay, 850 centimeters is how many meters? 850. So think of it like the 800 and think of it as a 50. Put those two things together. Did you get it? Did you get it? Did you get it? Yeah, sure you did. Well, 800, that would be 8 meters. There's the 8. And the 50, well, we already figured out that's a half a meter, so it's 8 and a half. And the last one, 1/4 of a meter would be how many centimeters? 1/4 of a meter. Bing! You'd have to take 1/4 of 100. That's 25. Did you say 25? Good for you. Okay. Here's the deal. This is, I'm going to look on page 15 and just stick your tongue out at it and say, nanny, nanny, boo-boo. That's like things you have to do and drop stuff into boxes. We're not all together. Can't do that page. But here's the idea that they want you to get is volume is about 3 dimensions. Anytime, any object that you can pick up and like hold in your hand is a 3-dimensional object. That means it has volume. You could measure how much space this marker takes up. It's volume, okay? Anytime you're just talking about a flat surface on something like this board, that's 2 dimensions. Then you're talking, if you're going to use anything, be area, but it's not volume, okay? But any object, anything that exists in the world, most things are 3-dimensional objects. I mean, really, any object basically is 3-dimensional. I know you could say, well, a circle's not, but if I took this circle and I cut it out so I could hold it in my hand, well, I would cut away the board, and it would have a 3rd dimension. Even the thinness of the marker coming off that is still takes up a tiny amount of space, but it does exist. So, anyway, any objects you come across in life, you'll need that for the home link. Those are 3-dimensional objects, and therefore they contain a certain amount of volume. Any kind of thing that you put like a cups to drink in, right? It can hold things. Anything that can hold stuff, you're talking volume. It's talking 3 dimensions. All right, I'm tired of talking about this. Here's what you're going to have to do for these pages after that. So you're skipping 15, but you will do 16 and you will do 17. And those, I want to show you one thing that you got to remember to do some of those problems. Because those, it's going back to area. After I'm talking all this volume stuff, then it's going to give you various rectangles. And it'll have something like this. It'll say this is 4 meters, and this one is like 6 1/3 meters. And you have to do length times width to give you the answer, right? These get a little tricky because you're going to be multiplying, something's got some fraction in here. So I need to remind you how to do that. You've probably done it in the past sometime, but not this year, really. So what you have to do here is the 4 has to get multiplied by the 6. That's the easy part. You get your 24. But now the 4 has to get multiplied by the 1/3. Good, you can still see that on your screen. So here's how you do that. Anytime you have to write a whole number as a fraction, because it's useful to turn it into a fraction, because this has got a numerator and a denominator. I want this guy to have a numerator and a denominator too. But the easy thing you could do, any whole number, just stick it over 1. Because that line, that fraction line, means divided by. 4 divided by 1 is just 4. You haven't changed the value. Now, I've got 2 fractions that are trying to be multiplied. And the way you do that is you just do tops times tops and bottoms times bottoms. So numerators, 4 gets multiplied by the 1 and becomes a 4. The 1 times the 3 is 3. Now we've ended up with this. That is called an improper fraction. Okay, sometime I'll tell you my improper fraction story from 5th grade. 5th grade. It's happened to me. But I'm not telling you now. It's about Mr. Grandy, big scary teacher who turned out to be a really nice guy. I'm getting off topic here. Okay, we got to fix it. You can't say your answer is 24 4/3, because 4/3, you can't leave it like this. So anytime you have a numerator that's bigger than your denominator, you got to fix it. And the way you fix it is you have to say, how many 3s fit into 4? 1 of them do. So it becomes a big 1. How many were left over? 1 of them was left over, so it becomes 1, and this just stays the same, 1 1/3. Okay? So the final answer is I got to put the 24 with the 1 1/3, which gets us to 25 1/3 square meters in this case. Okay? So you're going to, when you do your multiplying, make sure the 4 gets multiplied by each piece, and then you put them together afterwards. Okay? And I think that's all you're going to need to know, all right, and that stuff. And then you do a math box, and then you do a home link, and that's it. Go do it.